Feel as if you are living, as if you are free, that you are actually doing something, going somewhere, getting better, moving forward in life. But if you are like many of us, you're trapped, lying unconscious in a cage, unknowingly hooked up to a virtual reality machine and an IV of dopamine, a happy fool. Beautiful, immersive pleasures and successes are flashing before your eyes and swimming through your veins. Illusions distracting you from the actual reality that you have been frozen in for decades, doing nothing. You are essentially dead, play acting as if you are alive. An actor in a coma, dreaming on an empty stage. Dopamine, the same stuff that helps create imagination, dreams, art, and psychosis, is flashing through your brain, simulating the experience of achievement, making you feel like you are taking steps toward meaningful and worthwhile goals. But let's stop fooling ourselves. Those are not your goals. And a lot of this dopamine is not stimulated by actual action, but by inaction. Yet in modern times, we have thousands and thousands of cheat codes that allow us to feel as if we are taking steps toward meeting our needs, that we are growing stronger. These cheat codes, these distractions, are often chemically, electronically, or culturally induced holograms, video games, movies, 3D fantasies, amusement parks, counterfeit simulations of real action, real life, the real you, a merry-go-round of images that allow us to experience the feeling as if all our desires are being fulfilled, as if we are winners, champions, kings riding ponies in the sky until the shiny little darlings puff up in smoke and leave us crashing through the ground. You think she loves you, but she's a cheap lying slut of a drug, licking you with her candy tongue and spraying her pink, purple mountains of hallucinogenic mist into your eyes, transporting you to the land of your dreams where you did it. You goddamn did it, you champion of the world. And as you feel her hot breath on yours, the sweet wetness splashing on your lips, her pop rocks popping near your mouth, the magic wears off. You are back in the dark cage, back on the cold hard square one, your home that you never left, the place you have been stuck in for way too long. Get me out of here! The path you never took, staring you in the face, a scary, scraggly, unpaved path full of weeds and bears, leading you into a dark forest full of actual change, actual growth, real success, real happiness, a life of your own. If only you take the first step and the one after that, then nature will give you the real stuff, dopamine, in the way you were designed to get it. But the actual reward takes work, action, struggle, pain, failure, rejection. But you gotta keep going, keep doing, keep marching forward, and then you will crack open the fountain of life. Sounds hard and scary and like it'll take too long. That's to say, if things even ever pan out, is it even worth it? Better to go back to sleep, to just distract yourself a little bit longer, to ride down the easy pre-built track for a few more years, bounce in the blow-up castle for a few more minutes, bounce, 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 pop. Crashing back through the ground, King Kong transforms back into a baby toad, staring in horror at his tiny reflection in the pond, remembering that he still has not taken his first hop. It was all a dream, a fun dream, but now look at me. I spent too much time focusing on that plastic bottle floating in the water in front of me that I didn't see the endless field of lily pads and flowers, couldn't see the possible mountains off there in the distance that were waiting for me, that I could have climbed, that I could have been. But instead, I stood still. I did nothing. I floated on top of that stupid plastic bottle, wobbling back and forth, spinning round and round, my attention being diverted towards fake holographic bugs, catching them on my tongue, thinking they were real, feeling successful and satisfied. If only I just stopped and reflected for a second or two, listened to my body and my soul, I could have seen that all around me were real horseflies and crickets and butterflies and roly-polies, big and juicy treasures staring me in the face. How richer and real my life could have been! I might look like a toad, but inside, I'm still a tadpole. It's not too late. Get off the roller coaster. Escape the amusement park. Start hopping yourself across the pond of your own choosing through that dark forest of your inner soul. And as you land on each tiny stepping stone, fluttering across each lily pad, it will light up in vibrant, colorful lights and light you up with it, infusing its dopamine, its magic, its fire into you. You will get rewarded for your every little action. Actions that fulfill your real needs and desires, both basic and grand, inborn and self-created. It might be fun and even useful to still keep some of those little tricks and toy ponies in your pocket, to go off to Candyland here and there, but don't let those mirages, those video games, those virtual worlds fool you into thinking that that is all there is. Don't let the pleasures and distractions become enough. Do not settle for the randomness you were given or thrown, or the dazzling golden brick roads that you followed others down, that they told you were the only options. Because one day, you will wake up having done nothing. At least nothing that really matters to you. Just having run around in circles your whole life, getting high off simulations and pretending to be doing something. It might have felt good, might have felt like you were doing something, going somewhere, becoming someone, but that's the magic of dopamine. It feels so good, and your body doesn't know the difference, but your mind does. And it feels so good, it can distract you and fill you up, and can keep you chasing random things, distracting you from your real goals, from reality and life itself. Stealing the fire from out under your wings and sucking it away through a slot machine or random hole. This is episode number 16, Dopamine Distractions, the false gods that steal your fire. Dopamine is not a bad thing. We need it to move. Our bodies cannot move without it. It's the tasty fire that pushes us into action, that directs our attention and focus to what is most important. It moves us towards things that we need, or at least perceive we need. Basic biological stuff for survival and reproduction out there in the world. Remember, we are animals, still living in an animal world. Scared, trying to survive, now and for the rest of time, through our children, creations, and actions. Dopamine is a molecule that tells us we are doing something, that we are going down that path, that we are not standing still. It is a delicious reward meant to keep us moving ever forward and forward, baby step by baby step, and sometimes in big leaps. It is our body's way of enticing us to keep taking care of it, giving it food, shelter, sex, allies, and more, to keep our eyes on the goal and bodies moving towards it. But we've also got a big human cortex covering up that animal brain of ours, and it has invented even more needs beyond mere survival and reproduction. This cortex makes us uniquely aware of our own death, of time itself, that we are mortals. We can die any day. And whether we consciously recognize it or not, deep down, this knowledge of our mortality terrifies us all. We are shivering, trembling in our skulls, pretending we are okay via the mask of our thinking, talking, distracted mind. But we are scared, and we don't know what to do. It seems we must create a child, a family, another day on this beautiful, terrible earth. Anything. But that's not enough. For that all too will one day end. We'll die like all the rest. Better hedge our bets. Better create something even more sturdy. Books, podcasts, movies, art, music, inventions, philosophies, empires. But those too will one day crumble. We'll reach their end. We're screwed. And we know it. At least our brain has equipped us with various chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and more that make us feel good, to make life a little bit worth living. But we must earn these chemicals. Happiness is a reward for the actions we take. And unhappiness, well, the opposite. It's easy to blame society or to feel like a victim, and not everything is your fault. But enough bickering and complaining and waiting for someone or something else to solve your problems. Responsibility is our best route out of this mess, towards that glorious land. Action is our only way forward. That's how it is in the animal world, and the way, until recently, it has always been for us too. The good feelings are only meant to flow when we roar down those rapids. It is only icing on the cake, tasty treats to reward us for meeting our needs. Serotonin, our need for status, strength, confidence, and pride. Oxytocin, our need for trust and protection, and a tribe. Dopamine, our need for resources and mates, and also for achieving all of our bigger, uniquely human, man-made goals from our culture, society, religion, and most importantly, our inner soul. The desire for more than what we already have, to keep trucking on, hunting, collecting, experiencing, becoming. Dopamine feels great. And in the state of nature, it serves the function of rewarding animals for taking steps toward any of their various goals. These can be biological goals, things determined by evolution. But as humans, we can create our own goals that span across time into the near and distant future, and across space into near and distant lands. Our imagination is a limit. It can give us a better life in this human civilization of ours, or wherever we dream to go. Dopamine rewards us, pleasures us, as we pursue the goals of our mammal ancestors, but also the goals of our culture, and most importantly, the goals of our unique individual life. The more we allow dopamine to do what it does best, to give us the energy, motivation, and focus that we all need to achieve what matters to us, biologically, socially, economically, existentially, spiritually. Dopamine motivating us down those paths that truly matter, and giving us splashes of happiness along the way, as a sort of thank you and you can do it, a playful kick in the butt to keep us moving forward and not forget what life is about. Dopamine, doing such a pure and untainted dance, is a beautiful thing. It is our friend, our life force, our fire. It builds real castles, mountains, ponies, and pictures, ones that on our deathbeds we can say we actually lived in, adventured through, rode on, and painted. But if we focus our attention on counterfeit or hollow versions of all of this, that is what we will be rewarded with, a hollow and counterfeit life. But as our human race evolves, we keep discovering or inventing more and more hacks and tricks, finding and creating new cheat codes, letting us sneak into the pure, blessed heavens of dopamine. It used to take work to get into the upper tiers of that kingdom. Action held the key. It was an exclusive club only for doers, go-getters, men of action. No passive victims, lazy freeloaders, tricky thieves, or slimy do-nothing princesses and pimps. Yes, we all have some baseline level of dopamine that is always there. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to flip our eyelids up and down or breathe air in and out. Most of us can muster up enough energy and courage to do at least that. But gradually, and faster as time goes on, we are losing our ability to move, to do, to act, doing nothing with our bodies and nothing with our minds. Our two most special abilities, thought and action, deactivated, numbed away, forgotten. Us too distracted and supposedly happy and content to notice. We don't want to get up off our butts or think for ourselves, do anything that takes real work or involves risk and unpredictability. Yes, we want new experiences, to travel to new lands, and to try new things, but only as long as they are fun and easy and comfortable enough. But with risk comes reward. The reward of dopamine, no guts, no glory, and we wonder why we feel so dead inside. Sheep waiting to feel like a wolf, but unwilling to leave their safe, comfortable playpen. Popping pills, clicking buttons, collecting pebbles and building up bigger piles of dirt. Distracting themselves with meaningless games and nursery rhymes to divert their attention away from the fact that they are still standing still. Frozen behind a fence. The place they were born and the place where they will die. Waiting for their next meal, complaining why their lives are so dull. That nobody is helping them. Tearing out their own wool because they know they could have done so much more. The reality flashes before their eyes in those rare moments when the free dopamine has worn off, when the shepherd is asleep, when the food and drugs and injections and silly dances are no longer swimming through their veins, when night has fallen and they are all alone in silence with an empty belly and an empty mind, no more busy work or pleasure to distract them from themselves and what truly matters. Like these sheep, we are filling up our bodies and minds and days with useless, meaningless activities and substances. That way, we can feel satisfied. We can stop the hunger, shut up our inner wolf, wanting out, dampen down the flame, the desire and thirst for more. Suffocate our soul, distract it with a little toy or piece of candy so it stops crying. And it works, for a time being. But that is not what it wants. It wants mommy. It wants to play outside. It wants a tribe. It wants its needs and dreams, biological and spiritual, to be met. You can fill up your wallet with Monopoly money to feel like you are rich. Eat another cookie to forget that you are sick. Fill your schedule up with random meetings and hangouts to feel like your life matters. And it does. But this is not the way. I remember when I was a kid, and my dad worked for the newspaper. In the garage, we had these bags full of slugs, those coin-like objects that had the same weight and shape as quarters. You could put those things in the vending machine or little toy machines, and those machines didn't know the difference. I would put those valueless circles in, and out would pop sodas and toys and all kinds of free goodies. I didn't do it too much, but once or twice. Imagine you are that machine, eating those slugs, feeling the pleasure each time they slide down your metal throat, thinking you're getting rich, feeling amazing, but then 40 years down the road, you open up your little treasure box down below, and what do you find? To your horror and regret, nothing but junk. Nothing you've done. An illusion, a magic trick, a way to divert your attention and energy away from what you actually wanted and needed. A non-life. We are like those vending machines, but with 2 legs and a brain, and we go running around chasing slugs throughout the store. Feeling good along the way, getting all the easy dopamine. Something does feel a bit off sometimes, but we figure, we probably just need more slugs. More. While right in front of us are piles of real gold, real coins and dollar bills, forests of them. But we stay locked in our shopping center, busting our butts for junk. That energy, attention, and focus could have been used in much more optimal ways. Ways that actually benefit us in the short, medium, and long term. Waddling out of that shopping center and stepping out onto the unpaved road, the wild world of the unknown, is scary and hard at first. But that is where all the real stuff lives. The stuff that will actually nourish and grow your mind, body, and spirit. Real life is out there, not in this fantasy land. And as long as you let those rascal kids and men in suits distract you with their slugs and medicines and technologies and jobs and corn mazes, you will be wasting your time, wasting your energy, wasting your life. It will all feel real and feel pretty good if you never allow yourself to sit in silence. Solitude and spaciousness If you keep hiding, and numbing yourself, you might never wake up from this matrix. But one day, on your deathbed, you will. The only taste of life you'll get will be at the ending credits. In the not-too-distant past, such non-action, such merry-go-round, delusional, masturbatory kinds of lives would have turned us into jackal meat. Reality would have stricken like a lightning bolt. The hyenas would be feasting on our useless corpses. Our mushy brains would be in vulture beaks. Therefore, our ancestors worked their butts off beyond whatever we could ever imagine or appreciate. Kept their attention on real stuff in ways that we only do once or twice a year. The past is not as pretty and idyllic as we'd like to believe. Nature is not as forgiving or generous as this modern society is. It's not all cute baby monkeys licking each other's fur and smiling dolphins splish splash taking a bubbly bath below a sky full of rainbows. It was a world full of rain clouds and bugs and tigers and war and disease. And in some places, and for some unlucky souls, it still is, at least to some extent. And for every one of us, at those rough patches in life, when society can no longer protect us or make us happy, when the mirage fades away and the fake walls crack open, we are back in the wild, naked and screaming for our lives. Yet at least, at those times, we feel alive, because then we must act, or else we will die. But for most of our lives, many of us, even off in the once jungles of Africa and paved over slums of India, we have forgotten our brutal past. The way we had to work for our dopamine, like a camel trudging through a desert, grunting for water, a child climbing a tree, stretching towards an apple, a man in a cave whose only entertainment was the stars in the sky and the changing autumn leaves, whose only game was fishing and hunting, skipping rocks and playing peekaboo with frogs. Happiness is not a human right. These neurochemicals do not flow for no reason. They flow through the lands where actions roam. Actions that promote our health and survival. They don't need to be big, grand actions, but they need to be something. Something that makes us feel like we are moving forward towards our needs and goals to a place where either our biology, memories, or thoughts are telling us to go. Baby steps, daddy steps, lucky steps, any steps, as long as it is realistic enough for us to believe in and reach. Dopamine raining down each time, sometimes sprinkling, sometimes pouring down, pouring like cats and dogs, depending on how big of an action it is we are about to take, and how big and close that fish is that we are pulling out of the lake. Nature itself has hidden various dopamine Easter eggs, little treats throughout this world, extra big packets of pleasure and energy. Prizes for us to consume things like sugar, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, cocaine, various plants, compounds, sights and sounds that are packed full of surprises, higher concentrations of energy than we are used to or expected to find. And when we consume these things, we feel extra good, extra focused, extra motivated, full of energy to keep going. And then the next day, once the super power-up high is worn off, they crash us down below where we started. As high as that high was, as good as it felt, as much action as we might have gotten done up there, or at least believed we could have done, this low is equally low, feeling like a hell, an empty tank far below what we are used to, where we can get nothing done and feel like a nobody. From down here, neutral and average look oh so good, like heaven in the sky. Sure, we can grab another Easter egg, pop another cheat code, but in the end, if we keep that cycle up, it's only going to keep plummeting our baseline dopamine levels lower and lower, and our mood and life along with it. That means unhappiness, non-action, a painful downward spiral towards death. So most of us are smart enough to avoid addiction, but sometimes those candy eggs are more powerful than they appear, and more powerful than us. Or they trap us in our most vulnerable state, at our weakest moment, A teenager desperate to fit in and survive. A lonely man who lost it all, and this is his only friend who seems to love him. Until that friend stabs him in the spine, puts a straw in his neck, and sucks away his last millimeter of energy and confidence, steals his final penny, snapping his only last thread of love and support. A broken Barbie doll lying naked in the gutter, head popped off and legs twisted backwards. But we are all addicted to something. We all have our habits, not all of which are bad. Just choose your addictions wisely. And in today's marketplace, there is a never-ending smorgasbord of addictions and pleasures to choose from. How much do you want? It comes in various doses and can keep dripping for as long as you want, or at least as long as you keep paying. And it's easy. Just gotta sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Pleasure forever. Distraction until death. Until death do we part.
Welcome to Dopamine Podium! We've got gadgets, TVs, video games, boomboxes, smartphones, pornography! The internet can be your slave turned master! We've got drugs, alcohol, amphetamines, cigarettes, Adderall, Ritalin! Top of the line, my kids, top of the line! This stuff is going to blow your mind! I've been to Tokyo Tower, Burj Al Khalifa. I've screamed and hollered from the roof of the Empire State Building. But I have never been as high as I am on this happy pill. This smoke in my lungs, this powder in my veins, and all for the price of only $19.99. Who could complain? Buy now and we'll give you a free 3-month subscription to the Pleasure Dome. And once you enter, you'll never want to go home. A flickering, fully immersive 3D land where all of your wildest dreams come true. Your wish is my command. You can feel what it's like to swim in cash, bathe with a million mermaids, become a man. Storm your way across uncharted oceans, slay giant dragons or praying mantis, be the hero of your non-existent story, blank, unturned pages that feel like a big adventure or fantasy story, live happily ever after. This is 2023, reality is done, reality is dead, it's overrated, my friends, action, blah, blah, blah. It's a feeling that counts. And all of this from the comfort of your own home. We're throwing a sofa, because that's what we do. All we need from you is to shine here, and write down your credit card number here, and you are good to go. You just made the best decision of your life. You're not going to regret this. Please come back for more, too. You didn't even visit the 4th floor. Here we've got more inconspicuous dopamine helmets, masks, for those of you who want to go a bit undercover, if you will, to make things a little bit less obvious, more believable. Catch my drift? If you want to feel and look like this illusion is even more real, this is a place just for you. Sex that feels like love. Drugs that taste and look like food. Mannequins that look alive. Charades that look and feel like jobs. Meaning out of nothing. We've got services up the wazoo, enough virtually simulated life to last you 1,000,000 years. Please purchase something, won't you, my darling? This virtual life will look just dazzling on you. And I promise you'll never once again need to wake up out of this coma to decide what to do or put energy into action. You have to think or act all by yourself. You don't need to learn that. We'll do that for you. Creative thinking, real action. Such things are ancient, dusty relics for the poor who can't afford these higher luxuries. We can buy our dopamine. You don't want to be a loser, a peasant, do you? Well, do you? Answer me. Look me in the eye. It's okay if you can't afford it. Don't worry, my friend. We got you covered. You can enslave yourself. Work a meaningless, alienating job or get into debt. I wasn't supposed to say it like that. That's for employees only. I'm sorry, sir. Let me rephrase myself. exclusive VIP expressway ticket, super special ticket into this amusement park with Dopamine. Look at all these guys in there. See them in there? All having fun? Squeeze on over, guys. We got one more winner. Everyone's a winner here. Can you feel it? And if you can't, if it's all worn out, just raise your hand. Here's some candy that will make you feel it. You are lots of cool guys. That's what you are. And buckle up, boys and girls, and enjoy the ride. Ah! Do you want to go again?
Yeah, no!
Fire it up, buddy. We're gonna go again and again and again. Can I hear a yeehaw? Unless you want to do it yourself and hike out the hill with your legs. I gotta warn you though, that's gonna be a lot of work. You're gonna have to milk that dopamine like a cow. And she's an old cow, yes she is. You wanna wake up at 4 a.m.? I didn't think so. Step after step after step. And that ain't even to mention, you're also gonna have to choose which path to even go down. If you ain't gonna take what we have to offer, all these convenient products and services, yeah, did I mention? We got lots of services to make your ride through life even easier. We got religions, cultures, prepackaged cookie cutter lives, all designed custom fit for, well, a few people, over 1,000 to choose from. But this page here, this one right here, is the most popular one. That's what I recommend. Guy with money and job and thing on his neck, lady with a bunch of things and stuff on her face, fat boy whipping robots, stomping his feet, and bottles of cheese, tube of whipped cream screwed to his mouth, Furbies sucking on his toes. Wait, that one don't belong here. That one on the wrong page. Betty, come fix this! Fix this binder! And then the value pack comes with a pocket screen, porno tank, and a lifetime subscription to Frito-Lay. And today's your lucky day. First day of summer, that's what it is. Would you believe it? Summer special starts today. For only $200 extra, we'll toss in a bucket of babies and colorful bouncy balls for free. Because we love you and we want you to be happy. We can design your life for you. Because that's how we are. We love you. You're our friend and we want you to be happy. This one right here on page number 2 is just for you. I see it. Comfy and cozy and full of really real happiness. You won't even know the difference. Once you leave this store, you can rest peacefully. Say sayonara, adios to those hard days of thinking and action. No action or thinking required here. That's our customer guarantee. And if somebody, I don't care if he's out there in the world or in your little head, if anything tells you that you have to do or think for yourself in order to feel good, in order to get that little drip of dopamine, however much you signed up for, and these days, feeling good, happiness, dopamine, serotonin, all that good stuff is basically a commodity, if not a human right. They can't take it away from you, but if they do, or if they try to tell you that you gotta work for it yourself, then you call Bill. Tell them Bill sent you. And here's my card and my number. I'll hook you up with extras just for the inconvenience and nuisance.
We've been gifted all these natural and plastic dopamine Easter eggs, tricks, and hacks that we didn't even ask for, and nor do we need. Not gonna totally complain, a lot of them are pretty handy and useful. But they're supposed to be treats, tiny distractions for you to slide into your life here and there, but too many of us are relying on them for everything. Our main gig. Yes, sometimes we do need a little bit of relief. So that drug or technology or casual hookup or piece of pizza can't help. But when we keep using these temporary tools, or sometimes pure poisons, to divert our attention, we can lose sight of the real goal. Living a meaningful life full of thinking and action, not passive brainwashing, pampering, and consumption. And that easy life is not going to bring us happiness anyway, because we were designed to work, to move, to take action, to evolve. When we don't have that, our natural supply of dopamine is cut off, and we become dead, hollow puppets with the exogenous sources filling us up, temporarily bringing us back to life. But ultimately, we soon sink back down like a flat tire. But how fun is it being a puppet, a flat tire? Better to be a real person, a strong, sturdy tire, despite all the pain involved on the road of life, on the unpaved journey that no one but yourself gave you the permission to go on, but that you need no permission for. Because this is your life, and if you don't take the reins of it and move down that weird path of yours, you are screwed. And so too will be your dopamine levels, which they probably already are. Fix your brain, fix your life, starting today. The cure to all of this is deciding on your goals and taking tiny steps towards them, day after day, never giving up, but believing in yourself and letting that dopamine guide you to who you really are and where you need to be. There's going to be pain either way in life, so it might as well be down the path that you choose. Not some simulation of one via entertainment, technology, drugs, and whatnot, or arbitrary one via scripted out lives downloaded from society, culture, family, and religion. Yes, you will get dopamine, and you will feel temporarily good from that fake stuff and those fake lives. But reality, however painful and rocky getting used to it is always going to feel better. Remember the things that truly bring you pleasure, that you have always loved doing or felt called to do, or that you know you are built to do, that deep down you believe you can and want to do. And even if you totally suck at that thing now because you're all rusty or haven't even yet started, you will get better. It's all uphill from here. You need to take that first and second and millionth step down the path of your own choosing. Nothing will compete with that feeling. Even if you don't get what you want, arrive at your supposed destination, just trying is going to feel much better than any success you find down those false tools and paths. You can still play in those amusement parks and put on a serious face through those office buildings sometimes, but treat those like dreams or snacks or nightmares, not the main course. Set some goals far beyond the horizon, off there in the distance, and sprinkle a bunch of little ones right below your feet and in front of you, all around you, little stepping stones, showing you where to go. With each step, your brain will reward you with some dopamine, and that fire will fuel you up, give you energy, and motivate you to keep moving forward, because you are a man, and you are an animal, and we were built to trek down paths, to move our bodies, move our minds, travel through space and time, ever moving forward, to take a rest here and there, to sometimes walk backwards, to do a little dance, to tumble down and fail, but to keep blazing new trails in the places and with the people and the creatures in the ways that we love and were built for. Let's burn down that darn dopamine superstore, send old Bill and Betty off on an early retirement.
Huh? What did you say?
Or run away, find lands where such junk is not constantly getting blasted into your face, thrown on you like a fistful of spaghetti in a food fight. Find a bit of space for yourself to sit and rethink things, enough silence and freedom to relearn how to move your own body and think for yourself. The hard work will pay off, and sooner than you think, in tiny little spurts, action by action, and in geysers at some of the landmark points. You reap what you sow. Easy come, easy go. Get what you pay for. And if you get dopamine from that cheap, toothless hooker or empty cash spitting job, that dumb company that is stealing your fire, along with all the other leeches that you attach to your body after work and on the weekends, you're going to wake up at some point in the future exactly where you started. Without real love, without real meaningful work, without a functioning mind or body, without your own life, with even less freedom to redirect the course, because you've already been sucked dry to the bone and the clock is striking midnight. It totally sucks. I'm with you here. I feel like I'm still at the starting line too, the bottom of a bucket with crabs 20 years younger than me, staring out at that fierce jungle of weeds within which I know my destiny lies, finally starting to inch my way towards it. If I keep chopping away day after day, gaining more momentum and confidence in my steps, even if it hurts and takes years or probably decades, I'd rather feel the pains of life than the pleasures of death. To be a real nobody than a fake somebody. It's comfortable out there in this holographic amusement park, this cozy circus of dreams, the house of mirrors, horror house of quick hacks, diversions away from our true path. It's scary out there in the big unknown, where we need to find actions and thoughts of our own, where we don't get happy chemicals for basically free, or for doing a cheap trick, or selling our time to a useless endeavor. We gotta work for our happiness. Rousseau was wrong. Nature is not a happy, peaceful place. It's a journey full of ups and downs, and Jefferson was correct. We do not have the right to happiness, but only the pursuit of happiness. Let's all exercise that right instead of outsourcing it to factories, clowns in neckties, or false gods in pretty robes or packaging. Society is great, and many of these things are making our lives healthier, easier, and better in so many ways. I sure as hell don't want rats scurrying across my dirt floor, bugs crawling on my skin, and vampire bats sucking on my hairy neck in the middle of the night. No, thank you. I'll keep society. But once you let it start stealing away your ability to think and move, when you turn yourself into a victim and feel like you no longer need goals because the substances, services, and technologies feel good enough, are doing a good enough job, or they sap away your need or ability to think for yourself, that's when you're in real trouble and need to run for the hills. That junky, fakey life is just as bad or worse than a poor, brutal one out there with the rats on your pillow, snakes slippity sliding under the door. And maybe this is part of why they say money doesn't buy happiness, because once we get too much of it, we sometimes let it carry us away into the eye of the storm, it robbing away our most precious gift, our uniquely human gift to carve our own paths in life, the freedom to choose which way to step, and what actions, creations, and lives to make for ourselves on our short, vanishing time on this planet, which will be gone in a flash, like a trucker sucking down a big gulp. Spill yourself out of that cup and run that liquid life of yours down, not through the plastic straw, neck straw, or getting crammed up in that beard, but go wherever you need to go, towards wherever your soul is calling you from. Once you leave that cup, it will be confusing and scary. You'll want to jump back into that easy, predictable, boxed-in life. But when you feel that urge to give up and retreat back to safety, just wait. Pause. Be patient and take one more painful step forward. And before you know it, the pain will turn to pleasure. And then back to pain and more pleasure. You will be a river flowing free who never dies, or at least not until your actions and creations have been forgotten. And who cares if they die anyway, because you'll have been a badass. A real person. Have lived a real life. You will carve new rivers through those unknown lands, drip by drip, step by step, into a place of your own, for you and your future generations to enjoy and admire. The inside will be the outside. Life will be death. Dreams will be reality. You will have completed your mission here on Earth. A real life action hero. Not the stupid plastic ones, but the ones like in the movies. But with your personality. Wow, how perfect would that be? Then, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because you're doing it. You're doing life, either way. Respect the dopamine. Keep loving it and nurturing it and giving it chances to play outside and flow in healthy ways. Beneficial, life-promoting ways. Give it interesting, meaningful targets to shoot for. That little horse inside of you just wants to play games and go on adventures, not the boring, easy ones sold to you at convenience stores or the ones taught to you in school. Not that crap that is distracting you from your true nature, your inner and outer warrior, your real authentic goals, but play the games and go on the adventures that your mammal ancestors loved to play, and the new ones invented by you, the human you, thrown into this unique situation that built the brain that you've got to live with and that you can rebuild and learn to love. Make a plan for that pony, your animal inside, and together with the human brain riding on top, pave new roads, one step at a time. Let your river of dopamine flow. Let it take you where you want to go. Thank you for listening. Please, if you haven't already, my friends, follow or subscribe. If you do, I'll love you. And if you don't, I'll still love you because you love yourself. Together, we are breaking out of this mummy skin and resurrecting from this empty tomb. Dopamine mash. A holographic smash. He did the mash. He robbed his life in a flash. He did the mash. He did the dopamine mash.